episode of Career GPS Global Positioning Strategies. And I thank you for coming on with me today. And I have a topic for you that I was doing some research and I decided to share today. I was doing a series on career development. And so I had a lot of questions from people who called me and had asked me about the job search and the careers and adding value to um, the organization. And so I'm here today to talk about how you add value. And there are 6 factors that make you invaluable to the company. So I wanted to discuss that with you on today on what um, makes you valuable and invaluable to a company so that you can be someone that they want to keep and somebody they want to keep on. And so the 6 value factors are demand, ability, irreplaceability, focus, connection, and authority. So you may or may not have thought about it much of what makes you irreplaceable. And even in this time where the economy is good and everyone's saying how great the economy is, there are still people who are being laid off and things like that. Not always because of financial situations with the company, but because um, you're not, seen as bringing value to the company. So this is something that you can have even when you're writing your resume to go to other jobs. What makes you someone that they want to hire and someone that will be irreplaceable to them? So I want to start with demand. Demand represents how well your skill set matches the skill sets that they're asking for in your particular industry and in the market. So um, you have little direct control over demand. So the only way you can improve upon this factor is to increase your understanding of the current and future market trends. So you want to ask yourself, what is the current and future demand for my personal skill set? This is especially important as we are moving more into a technological phase. You have some things that are being phased out. I looked at the job report today that was saying that the skills that were in demand and the careers that were in demand versus the skills that are going out of demand. And those skills were manufacturing was one of the industries that was going out of demand, and the skill sets that were coming in were IT, social skills like social media and things like that. Jobs like that are starting to come into demand. And even as, because I do check the jobs that are out there that people are applying for and the companies are putting out there, and is a lot of demand for IT, programming, a lot of social media marketing, social media gurus, because now if you don't have a social media presence as an organization, or you don't keep your finger on the pulse of what is trending on social media and socially as far as the demand for your product or service, you will find yourself very quickly becoming obsolete as a company, not just as someone who is working. And so you have to look at that. What is your job? And is there going to be a need for it? And I found myself in my industry when I was working in healthcare. When I first started, there were different units, and there were like multiple units of the same type of work, which was a processing type of work. And I was in that position for like 2 years. And then automation came. And we went from having 4 or 5 different units doing the same type of work, whittling down to one. And you had people who were laid off, like mass, and then they combined the units of the people who they wanted to keep, who they felt were in demand, who had the skill set to do the things that they wanted to do as far as production and quality. So they went down, and some of these people were very good at their job and very skilled at their job, but they just weren't in demand anymore. So you want to make sure that your skill set is there. Even as a career person and a coach, I have to stay on top of the trends. I have to stay on top of what's in demand in my industry so that I don't become obsolete. I have to know what is trending in resume writing, in writing your LinkedIn profile, what recruiters are looking for when they want you to apply, the applicant tracking system and the changes in that, and what the applicant's tracking system will read versus what it won't read, and things like that, and how to get your resume to get to the place that you want it to, which is the eyes of the actual recruiter or hiring manager or HR person. So I have to do that myself even now in my business to make sure that I am still in demand. You want to look at ability. What is your ability? And it represents how well you actually provide the service that you are doing for the company. So you do have control over that. It is important to continuously produce results and to deliver progress. And I tell my clients that when I was working for corporate, I told people that make sure that it's easy to just do what is in your requirements. That's one thing. That is what's required. That's what you have to do. But you are supposed to be delivering results. When you are in your job, are you delivering results? It's not enough just to know what your position is supposed to be and what's required of you. As I said before, you must continually seek to improve upon what you are doing, and the ability to become more and more invaluable to your department and to your company. So you have to consider, what are you doing to improve your ability to perform for the department that you work for and your organization as a whole. And the story that I have for that is that, again, I spoke about the department being consolidated, and they asked for people to volunteer for a special initiative. I wasn't looking to volunteer, but I was volunteered by my manager, and it ended up saving my job and making me invaluable. And I gained a skill that I wasn't necessarily looking for, but it made me in demand throughout my career, what I learned there. And so that's what you need to look for. Unexpected opportunities you weren't necessarily looking for, the opportunity to gain a new skill set, because you never know when that skill set will be the skill set that saves your job. So you want to be able to look for that in the confines of speaking to your manager, finding out what's going on. And I look back at that even now, 20 years later, and I was like, had I, went on my own thing and was like, I just want to stay here in this department, I wouldn't have stayed in the department anyway, because they were getting rid of the departments. And so, like my director said at that time, because it was my director who came to me, she had saved my job, and I didn't even realize that she had done it. And looking back, I did actually connect with her years later and thanked her for the opportunity that I wasn't expecting, but it saved my job. And getting that skill set, it made me be in a place to be irreplaceable, because I became the subject matter expert. I became the person and the resource that everyone in the company came to when they had questions about that specific thing, that unit, the skill sets that I learned. And so that brings me to the third thing of having value and being seen as valuable to your company. And that is the irreplaceability factor. This measures how it is difficult to replace you and is a function of two things. One, the ability to be available competition for your position, and how deeply you understand the unique needs of your employer. So, going back to that is when I took on these skills and this skill set and learned this specific skill, it made me understand the unique needs of my employer. There was a unique need that I filled, and it made me irreplaceable because I was committed to ongoing research and evaluation. So once I saw that the units were dwindling and people were gone, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I wouldn't have had my job. So what's actually going on here in the company that they're training you for this other thing? And I said, what skill sets do I need to have so that I don't wind up in the same position as my coworkers? And so that's what you have to look at. It may not be to the extreme where they're laying off departments right then or whatever. It might just be the fact that they have this new technology coming in. And so now you want to learn that technology. A lot of times we're resistant to new technology, new processes, because we get used to those processes. But if what you are doing is becoming less and less of a need, then you're going to be the one that's out the door. So it behooves you to take a look and evaluate and research where your company is going, paying attention to what is going on, pay attention to the technologies that are coming in, the processes that they're doing, because when you pay attention to that, then you will see a shift going on, and you want to be a part of where the company is moving to versus where the company is moving from. And so you want to consider, what is the biggest thing keeping your boss from firing you right now? Not tomorrow, not years from now. And sometimes you do want to look forwardly for years, but right now, what do you have, and what is your skill set that is keeping them from calling you in the office and saying, we are making some changes and we're doing some layoffs. Sometimes layoffs is 30 days, sometimes it's immediate. What are the things that you bring to your unit, to your department, that's keeping them from handing you that pink slip? Which they don't hand out pink slips anymore. They just tell you that they no longer need your services and walk you out the building. So what is that thing? Factor number 4 that makes you invaluable is focus. Focus requires you to avoid anything that gets in the way of time that you're spending in your most valuable activities. This is a big one. Are you focused on minute things and tasks, or do you have a coworker that's constantly just trying to chat to you about their weekend and is holding you up from getting the things that you need to get done that are a priority? These are the activities that have the greatest impact on the bottom line, both for you personally and as an organization as a whole. Are you still focusing on yesterday and how things were 10 years ago in the company? Because that can drift your focus too, to the fact that you're like, dang, they got all of this stuff coming. They have all of this new stuff coming, and I don't want to do this. It works fine the way it was. That can deter you and your focus from where you need to be. The more you spread yourself out in many directions, the less valuable you become. So basically, if you're a maverick of everything and a master of nothing, that makes you less valuable. because they can hire people to do all of those different things, and they're experts at that and can be the go-to person for that. And you're not necessarily the go-to person because you're just doing every little thing, and it's just you just become useless. So you want to make sure that you stay valuable to the company. As information and available options continue to explode, so does the temptation to engage in many less valuable activities. So you want to make sure that you have your priorities in order. What are the main things that you need to have done? Those are conversations that you would have with your manager. What are the main things? What are the priorities? What are the things that I have to have that are required for my job that I need to focus on? There are little things that you need to do, but then there are things that you need to majorly focus on. And then you need to ask yourself, how well do you focus your actions on the most valuable activities of your job? How well do you learn the most valuable aspects of your job? You want to make sure that you do that. Factor number 5 is connection. Now, in my research, it said connection. To me, I will say, how well do you network with people? Networking and connection go hand in hand. You can meet different people, but how well do you connect? Assess your ability to connect personally with others and build meaningful relationships. Because again, people hire who they like, who they know. That's just the way it is. People say, oh, if I just come in and I do my job, that's enough. That's not always enough. So you want to be able to connect with people in terms of quantity and quality. So the value that you bring is directly affected by your ability to work well with others and share resources with others. This was a big thing. And when I was in corporate, and even when I talk to my clients today, a lot of the ones who are out of work now were people who did not share their resources because they were afraid they were going to lose their job, and they wound up losing their job anyway. You want to be able to be, again, a resource that people can come to. You want to be that subject matter expert. So in order for you to do that, you have to share what you know. When you're sharing what you know, first off, people don't want to know every aspect of your job to do their job. They just want to be able to have someone that they can go to ask the question so they can get the major part of their job done. So remember, the last one was focus on the major priorities of your job. When someone comes to you from another area, even in your department, they're coming to you because that is not a major aspect of what they need to get done. They have a bigger priority that they're trying to meet. So they're coming to you for what is considered minute to them so they can get done the major. So you need to be that person that they can come to get that little piece so they can get the bigger picture done. So you want to be able to connect well. Hiding and hoarding what you know, it is not a positive. It really is not when it comes to organizations. And connection is an absolutely essential part of becoming invaluable. If someone knows I can go to Susan to get this done or George to get this done, you want to be known as the person that the go-to person that they can go to get what they need. That makes you invaluable. In order to increase connection, you must not only master face-to-face interaction, but digital or virtual as well, because we are going more and more into the digital age. By the time I left corporate, I had just as many, if not more, virtual meetings through Zoom, meetings through Skype for business, meetings over the phone, video conferencing. I had just as many of those as I had with face-to-face communication. And you have to be able to communicate well, whether you're face-to-face in a meeting looking at someone, whether you're on the phone speaking to them, whether you on video conference, whether you are on Zoom or Skype. You have to be able to communicate just as clearly and get the point across just as clearly and efficiently. Number 6 is authority. All of these are interlocking, if you notice. Once you find that connection and you have that connection, you can interact well with your colleagues. The authority that you have evaluates how strongly the current market considers you to be a top expert in your field. So it's not just your department. As you gain these skills and you gain this authority, you're dealing with your internal client, which are your co-workers, the VP, the manager, etc., your customers, because everything is customer related in some way, shape, or form. Your vendors that you may have to deal with when things are outsourced, that outsourced vendor. How much of authority figure? Like before I left, when certain things came, it was like, we got to go to Katrina. We have to go to her because she has the information. She can explain it. We can get things done when she's in the room. Because I had that expertise in the area that I did, and that carried over into the market when I started looking for other jobs. Vendors work with all kinds of people and all kinds of companies. They're not just working for your company. And it was just like, oh, Katrina, oh yes, she knows what she's talking about. You're going to get the right answer when you speak to her. And so that is what you need to have. Even in my coaching business, I am seen as an expert in my industry, and I have people who come to speak to me because of my expertise. So you have to have that authority. So that authority comes with someone who others look to when they need to make decisions. So you need to be able to give that information so people can make informed decisions on the next step, the next project, what they need to do to get things done, what they need to do to get to the next level, where they need to be. You need to be that authority. You need to be that expert on that. An employee who is recognized both inside and outside of the organization as a leading expert dramatically improves his or her value. I'm going to say that again. An employee who is recognized both inside and outside of the company as a leading expert dramatically improves his or her value. So you want to consider, do my peers, both inside and outside of my company, consider me to be a leading expert in my field, aka the SME, SME, subject matter expert? Are you considered a subject matter expert inside and outside of your organization? Are you regularly consulted on matters at work? You have to be in the forefront of people's minds of, this is the person who has the expertise that can get me what I need. And already we are at the half-hour mark on this. But if you have any other questions about this, you can contact me. And before we go, I do want to speak to you about the virtual summit. That brings us all in, because see, this is career development, but career development is also if you are an entrepreneur, because that is your career. You might not be working for a company, but these principles of making you irreplaceable, whether your client will hire you or fire you or go with someone else, these principles will stand with you. And so that being said, we're having a virtual success summit for Black entrepreneurs who are women and talking to them about the different aspects in business. So whether you are new in business or whether you are seasoned in business, we are coming with tools for you to start your business, to be successful in your business, and to grow and continue to develop your business. So I would admonish you to come out to the Success Summit. And the Success Summit is October 21st to the 24th. To get your tickets, go to bit.ly, capital B, capital W, capital P, success. Sign up for your ticket. I will admonish you to go to that. If you would like to go to this summit, you can reach out to me on facebook.ventureready.net. I can send you the link. It's actually on my Facebook page. It's on my Instagram page. It's also on my LinkedIn page. I've been sending it out to everyone on my media so they would know how to get there. If you go there, the link is provided there. You can also email me at info@ventureready.net and I will send you the link that way. I'm also a sponsor and a speaker who will be speaking on professional brand development, which will help you to stand out in your business, will help you to be that authority in your business and to show that you are an expert in your field, in your business. With that being said, I thank you for joining me and good night.